This is the title tag, and right after this title tag we will be using this meta tag. Now there are two ways to close your meta tag. First of all, either you may close it as it is here in this particular case, like this is the tag that you are going to represent, that you are going to use, this is the code, or all you can do, you may close it as if this one. Now both of them are practically correct. We would like to say that the first one is the standard browser specific tag closing of meta tag, and the second one is very much XML supported. So we might use both of these tags right over here. There's absolutely no problem. But in my case, I'll be using the second one. This is the tag that I'll be using here. First of all, we need to define what is the charset being used into our project. Charset is practically the code of your text, which is worldwide used. And in this particular case, we will be using this definite charset of UTF-8. Now we need to declare which individual charset. It could be an ASCII code or it could be an UTF code, whatever it is. So all we need to do, first of all, we need to precisely define whether the charset used by your website, it is an UTF supported or it is an ASCII code or what. So I have declared that this is the UTF-8 here, and I'll be using this UTF-8 charset throughout into our web project. So this is what is been declared right over here in the first case. Now in the next case, let's copy this thing first, and in the second case we will be making usage of this meta name, which will be keywords. Now we are practically inserting some kind of keywords right over here. Just put this gap, and in the next case, as a content of this keyword, what should be the keyword that we are about to use into our project? It could be HTML, it could be CSS, it could be HTML, CSS, tutorial. This is a long tail keyword, as we can see here. So each and everything can be specified within the content of this meta name keywords. This is the second thing. In the next case, we might make usage of some kind of description here. And the content, it will be definitely some kind of for say ls web tutorial. So this is the content of this meta name description right over here. In the next case, all we can do, after all those things, first of all, we need to think, we need to stop here and we need to think whether we wish to make our site mobile optimized or not. So if we wish to make it mobile optimized, and if we wish to make usage of some additional responsive frameworks like Bootstrap or Foundation, or on the other hand, we wish to use the CSS Flexbox with our project, in that particular case, to make our site mobile optimized, we need to make usage of another meta name here, which is known as viewport. The first thing, and the second thing that we need to use along with this content is width equals to device width initial scale 1.0. Now this is another very important tag, meta name viewport, that should be used along with your project, because if you wish to make your site mobile responsive, then you need to scale your content along with the width of the device width where the initial zooming of your page should be set to 1.0. So this is what precisely been described into this part of your code. And in the next case, we need to make some arrangement with general linking with the CSS file that we have created, or we are trying to make usage of some kind of external scripts or resources or CSS files. So in those particular case, we need to make this usage of this tag, which is known as link href. Now at present, we haven't created any kind of additional folders or files into our project to be working upon with this individual index.html that we had created. So for the time being, we will be keeping this href part blank, and we will be heading back to the next attribute, which is known as rel. Now relevance is a very important attribute time to time, because all it is going to do, it is going to define, it is practically going to mention whether the included file, whether the linked file, it is a CSS file or it is a script file. So in that particular case, we need to make a mention of it. It is a CSS file which is style sheet, and the type should be text by CSS. So all those things are being specified right over here. And if we now have a look into this thing, so far that we have created into our project, we have practically added some meta name right over here. Meta name practically provides additional information to the web crawlers and to the browser about the type and the specification, what your content of your site is all about. So every single specification and information regarding this particular web project is being provided to the browser and the web crawler. So in some cases, all those meta names, those might have come in handy because you have provided all the necessary information regarding the content of your site into a single place. So you might put this meta name here. It is practically not going to affect the content of your site. All it is going to do, it is going to provide necessary or additional information to the site keepers, to the crawlers. And on the second hand, we have practically linked our style sheet with this co-relevant HTML index.html structure right over here. So right now we need to stop here. In the next case, we will be heading back to some additional infos like this hr tag or ins and delete tag, address tag, site tag, op group tag, etc.